Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News team.
Welcome to Worldwide Hippies News and Stuff for the week of April 11th. I am Winston Smith. Wow, was that a close one or what? The Congress avoided a government shutdown of services over the weekend. Were you scared? Truth, my friends, we were led to believe the problems with the budget were insurmountable, but our elected, or should I say selected, representatives worked very hard and did the impossible. They balanced the budget. They balanced the budget when military spending accounts for more than half of every dollar in revenues, and when most wealthy pay no taxes at all. What really happened was the rich got assurances that more money will be made available for them, that the military-industrial corporate media complex can not only control the message, but can control the outcome. Remember, as you are looking for work that is not there, when you are sick or hungry, when your child can no longer get an education, when you have been raped and there are no services to help you, when you are old, without heat, or have been robbed of your life savings, or if you're disabled and cannot access your already paid for benefits, that it was all for the enrichment of the top 5% of Americans, that you had to have a forced sacrifice conscripted upon you. That the lawless control everything now in 2011, not some future Orwellian conspiracy right now. And that it is not reality to believe that a vote for any political party or an act of divine providence will change this. It's a denial of the humanity we are faced with, my friends, and until we the people take to the streets and stay there together, demanding that justice be heaped upon all of those complicit in the cesspool of corruption we call the United States. Until these powerful demons of treachery are removed from society so they cannot harm anyone anymore, that the wars will continue one after another, and the haves will take and rape and steal and murder till there is nothing left. But how about some cool people news? Here's a few examples of good news. New York Daily News is reporting that a Brooklyn teen who wasn't allowed to take a final exam because she is homeless finally got her diploma last Monday. We did it, Rosa Bracero said at the High School for Civil Rights, her face buried in her mom's shoulder. No, baby, her mom said. You did it. The 18-year-old could not take her English Regents exams in February because she was forced to sit through a grueling homeless shelter intake process. The Department of Homeless Services made her stay for 7 hours, or else her entire family would not get housing. Bracero's school allowed her to take the exam 3 days later, but the state education department officials refused to score it, citing regulations meant to prevent cheating. After the Daily News and others wrote about her plight, Bracero helped to change this city's policy for herself and others. Right on, little sister. And how about this? Here's another example of good news and a good person. Moments when lost souls stood atop a cliff wondering whether to jump. The sound of the wind and the waves was broken by a soft voice. Why don't you come and have a cup of tea, that voice said. And when they would turn around to face him, his smile was often their salvation. For almost 50 years now, Don Ritchie has lived across the street from Australia's most notorious suicide spot, a rocky cliff at the entrance to Sydney Harbour called the Gap. And in that time, the man widely regarded as a guardian angel has shepherded countless people away from the edge. That's one old man making a difference. Far out, brother. And another story of activism on a grassroots level. This is reported to you by Worldwide Hippies News reporter from New York, Tricia. Welcome, Tricia.
Thanks, Winston. As a preschool teacher, I have spent years introducing very young children to the idea that they are part of a community. But some grown-ups are so cool they deserve a gold star, and Tim DeChristopher is one of those grown-ups. He is on the board for Peaceful Uprising. In 2008, Tim DeChristopher and a group of environmentalists attended this auction of oil and gas leases that Dick Cheney and George Bush arranged at the end of their administration. 132 parcels of land were put up for auction for oil and gas development. Many of these lands were right next door to the national parks. Tim figured out how to become bidder number 70 at this auction and proceeded to not only pretend to buy 22,500 acres of this property. So when these good old boys figured out this kid has been fucking with them, they got so pissed off, they canceled the auction, they stopped it, and the lands were saved. Last month, Tim was convicted of a couple of felonies, even though the Department of the Interior has since determined that of those 132 parcels of land, only 29 were even eligible to be auctioned off as oil and gas leases. But, you know, Tim DeChristopher stood up for what was right. He stood up for us, his community, and protected the environment. And he challenged authority. He disturbed the status quo peacefully. So, gold star to Tim DeChristopher, bidder number 70, and Peaceful Uprising. Back to you, Winston.
Thank you, Tricia, for your report. Well, I hear it's time for our Asshole of the Week. This week, it's Waukesha County Clerk Kathy Nicholas. It is my opinion that this admitted election manipulator is at it once again. Elected county clerk of Waukesha County in Wisconsin after an immunity deal in another vote tampering case a few years back, and now after a bitter class fight for Supreme Court justice in Wisconsin last week, where the winner, Joanne Kloppenberg, defeated incumbent Republican Judge David Prosser, the Republican, Kathy Nicholas, 2 days after the election, announced she had forgotten to hit the save button on her computer when counting votes in her district. Now, after adding the votes from her personal computer to the results, the newly elected Judge Joanne Kloppenberg is out, and Republican Judge David Prosser stays in by 4,000 votes. 3 points to note. Republican clerk Kathy Nicholas has a history of illegal activity concerning voting in Wisconsin. She also was using the state's system database, called Access, in the first place, which is not secure. It can be easily manipulated to count votes, and that does not have a saved button. The numbers are saved automatically in real time to prevent such an error, as Republican clerk Kathy Nicholas says happened. And third, question that still needs to be answered is why the Brookfield clerk was asked by Kathy for 2 versions of her results, with one being in a different format from all the other statewide standardized data. Yes, another Republican example of the criminals running this country, and the futility over the voter to affect any change within a corrupt system, a system that's been corrupted for more than 40 years now. And for this, Waukesha County Clerk and Republican pivot girl Kathy Nicholas is Worldwide Hippies Asshole of the Week. And that's the news this week for Worldwide Hippies. I want to thank you all for watching our news, passing it on. Please comment on our blog, send us all your suggestions, and we will see you next Monday.